There are now loads of HSW cars in GTA. You're probably wondering what is the fastest HSW car in GTA. That's what I'll be showing in this video. I won't put them in any particular order, but I will show you the top 10 fastest and show you how much they cost and what their top speeds are. Please enjoy the video. I know I said this is going to be in a random order, but I thought I'd put 10th place first, which is, of course, as you can see, the Buffalo EVX. Electric car, one I told people not to buy. I still stick to that even though it's the 10th fastest HSW. Or 11th if you actually count the weaponized Ignis, which is supposed to be in 10th place. Wiping this off, but I didn't put it in. The EVX has a top speed of 145 miles per hour. And now, of course, it being an electric car, it can get there really quick. But I spoke to you guys about this car. It can't wheelie. It's definitely one out on this list I wouldn't recommend. It's electric. It handles well. If you want to buy this car, it's 2.1 million. And with that, you'd probably expect a low HSW cost, but no, it's another 1.4 million to HSW. So in total, you're spending more than 3.55 million. Please don't buy this car, there's many more to come that are better. In 7th place comes the Banshee, which again, you do expect this vehicle to be higher up on the list. What this car was supposedly supposed to do in real life, you'd think this car would be the fastest car in the game. I mean, look at it. It looks like it should be the fastest car in the game. To me, it looks ugly. Sorry if anyone likes that, but my opinion doesn't matter here. But it does look like it should be one of the fastest cars in the game. It's got a top speed of 152 miles per hour, and it costs 1.8 million, which is fair. I guess this car was made quite a few years ago, but then has a HSW price of 1.1 million, which again is really fair. Like, why is it not more? I don't understand these HSW costs. They go over my head. Like, why some are way more and why others like this are less or one of the lowest on the list. The S95, I remember when this released, it was beating everything. I called it the fastest car in the game, and it currently was doing speeds to prove that. And then the acceleration was crazy. It was an all-round good car, but it only comes up 5th on the list with a top speed, a respectable top speed of 155 miles per hour. The car did cost 2 million, 1.995 million, but the HSW cost was only 525,000. Again, I don't understand it. To me, it makes no sense why these HSW costs are costing this little and others costing so much. But yeah, that's the order it's in. 5th on the list, a car that I'd recommend buying till this day. Got way too much power to put low grips on, so don't think about it. The Turismo Classic. I mean, to be honest, you don't even expect this to be on the list. It came out when all the HSW vehicles came out, and the car is quite fast. Like, you can tell with the speed that this vehicle should not be doing it. It handles well, it handles like it can. 150.5 miles per hour it does. The Turismo Classic is actually not that much as well. For a car that's actually coming in 8th place, the car cost 705,000 and it's a HSW cost of 897,000. Like, that is really cheap. There's a HSW vehicle you can get for cheap, and it looks like it should be a lot more. A total of just over 1.6 million. Like, it's a clear purchase for me. Like, I would recommend this car. It looks good. It's really fast. It's one of the it's one of the fastest. Clearly, hella, that's what the video title is. But there's a car that I'd recommend. You could probably guess. If you watch any of my videos, you could probably guess what's going to come up that I'd recommend the most. But there's one I recommend more than this car. Okay, the Hakuchu drag bike, it actually comes in 3rd place on the HSW list. I never normally put bikes in my videos, but in this case, it's just a fact. It's the 3rd fastest vehicle that's HSWable. It does 157 miles per hour. It gets there really quickly. It's 976,000 with 1.45 million as a HSW upgrade. It's quite respectable, you know, when you actually see how fast this vehicle can go and defining the laws of physics in, well, I mean, GTA. We've got a flying oppressor. What am I talking about? Laws of physics. Surprisingly, in 9th place comes the Entity MT, which I thought would be a lot higher. It being a hypercar, it being a very expensive car, You'd think that the category they put it in and at the price they put it at, the Entity MT would actually be a lot faster than it is. But, you know, still, we're getting a fast vehicle. And when you think of it, for what they could have charged, Rockstar could have charged, this is not that expensive. The HSW cost is 850,000 and the car itself costs 2.355 million. So really, it's not that much. In total, you're spending about 3.2 million on this car, and this is one that you'd expect to be the most expensive on the list. But as I've said, the EVX costs a lot more. The Entity MT being able to do 150.5 miles per hour. If you want one, yeah, it's a good shout. It looks amazing, this car. When it comes to HSW, it really does not make sense. We're not finding a common theme here. The Banshee's at 6th place. Like, the Banshee HSW is one of the fastest cars in the game, a car that cost only 105,000. You can just HSW it and it'll be the 6th fastest HSW on the list. Makes no sense, but then it cost 1.8 million to HSW. It's so stupid. The car costs 105k. You know, the HSW price nearly costs 18 times the original car price. But the Banshee, I mean, it's got loads of use cases. It's a Benny's car and a HSW car. But 1.8 million does not make you want to HSW upgrade this thing. To no surprise, Hella's biggest recommendation, Hella's recommendation in nearly every single video. This car is in like every single video. Like, people are probably tired of seeing this specification. My car in the same yellow, because you see it so many times in different videos. So for the cinematic, I used Sem's car. But not only is it crazily fast, not only is it the best sounding car in the game, not only is it affordable, like, it has too many good characteristics. This car has so many great features that, like, if you're into classics, even in the slightest, you need this car. You should buy this car. I always recommend this car. It does 157 miles per hour. It costs 975k, which is not that much. It was when it came out, but it's not that much anymore. And 855 for HSW, which means you can get this car for 1.83 million with HSW, which is so cheap for a car that Hella keeps going on about. Best sounding car in the game. I don't know what to say. Like, if I say it anymore, you're not really going to get my point anymore. I've said it enough. Buy this car. Even though this video, I should not be recommending cars to buy. The Vigero ZX. Now, the Vigero ZX and the convertible should be on this list, but of course I'm not going to put both of them on the list and then wipe down more vehicles. They go relatively the same speed. Some people say it's 0.5 miles per hour slower than the convertible, this Vigero ZX. But let's just say both of them are 158 miles per hour. And it comes second on the fastest HSW car. And to be fair, this car, as you'll see later on in the drag races, it gets to the speed so much faster than the #1 spot that objectively this is the fastest car in GTA, to me anyway. We never get long enough strips or highways, carry on driving, to then test out who has the fastest car. But #1 spot is faster by 10 miles per hour. Okay, #1 spot, the Italy GTO Stinger TT. Long name, but this car beats all the other cars by 10 miles per hour. That is stupid. It's #1 and #1 by far. The car costs 2.38 million, which is quite a bit, but then the 1.4 million upgrade, it brings this car near 3.7 million, which is a lot, but then understandable. It's supposed to be one of the fastest cars in the game, so it should be one of the most expensive as well. 168 miles per hour. It's mind-boggling how fast this car is. It is very torquey, so through the city you're going to get a few issues like accelerating. But yeah, the bumps help this car out so much more. I'd still recommend the Vigero ZX over this vehicle in terms of speed, even though this has a 10 miles per hour higher top speed. They're both great vehicles. Again, I should not be recommending. But to show you guys how fast these vehicles compare, the top 5 vehicles, we're going to drag them on the airfield where there's no bumps and it tests like the first half mile. So at the end, we raced the top 5 fastest cars. We excluded bikes, so we didn't do the drag bike. To make it fair, we all did a burnout to launch because the Vigero ZX would just do a wheelie if it was on handbrake. So grip had a big play in this. But as you can see, the Vigero ZX actually launches quite well, and the mid-range is quite well. The top end is really well. It's just the Italy GTO Stinger TT's final gear that lets it win. And we did the same race again to make sure it was the same consistent result. And that final gear only takes effect when you're on the highway, when you're doing those speeds, when you're weaving in and out of traffic, like way after a mile. Then you can see the Italy GTO pass the Vigero ZX, and when it does, it passes it at high speeds. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hopefully you found this kind of useful, educated. Maybe you know you wanted to buy a HSW car and now you know which you should buy based on speed. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy. See you guys in the next one.